Welcome to the Full-Time Fantasy Podcast, presented by the Fantasy Football World Championship, home to the industry's most accurate rankings.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Full-Time Fantasy Podcast. I am your host, Adam Krautwurst, with Full-Time Fantasy, the FFWC 11. And with me tonight is my man, Angelo Lilas. I wish my last name was Lilas because it sounds way better than Krautwurst, but we're here to talk ball tonight. Angelo, what is going on?
Not much, man. Just chilling. Trying to figure out this season, man. That's all.
Good luck. You and me both, dude.
Yeah.
You and me both. It's been a wild season. We were talking offline before the show about, grinding waivers and all that stuff. And you were talking about all the teams you got. I got a lot of teams too, dude. Talk to me about what is your week like? Like, do you have like a every week you're locked into this process to this Monday I do this, Tuesday, how does that all work?
No, I mean, look, you can get lost in it all if you let it, but I don't, because I've been doing it now for a while, so I have my system in place. Monday night, I usually come home, watch the game. I'll go over, see what the records are, what happened, transpired. That's it. I go to bed. The next day, I get off work early, so I just get on it and just start hitting it. You know what I'm saying? One at a time, go through every team, see the needs. Hopefully there isn't too much. Now there is with all the bye weeks and stuff like that, so it can get a little tricky. But you just go through it all one at a time and just try to make the right moves, and then hopefully you get it done at a decent time. But I was up till 4 a.m. yesterday. Yeah. And I didn't even finish everything. So I finished it took me about an hour today, and I finished up what I had left. But it's just, you have to, though. You got to keep the grind, man. You got to just keep on it and just and that's it. Basically, I'll do that. Then I'll wait till tonight to see how the waivers are. It's like a little lottery. Did I win? Did I lose?
That's right.
And just basically wait till Thursday night's game. And just start going from there, man. And then Friday night, Saturday, I'll look again. You never know. There's sometimes nuggets get forgotten. Yeah. You pick up guys on the cheap, couple bucks here, couple bucks there. And next thing the guy hits,
Yeah. And then not only that, how many times this year have we had a Friday hamstring pull where it's like, oh my God, now I got to, Gibbs hamstring. Now I got to go through and see if I have a starting lineup. Maybe I pick up their backup. So,
it's horrible because you got 6 teams on a bye, and then McCaffrey gets hurt, Montgomery gets hurt, Williams, Kyrie Williams, whatever.
Kyron Williams,
he gets hurt. It's like, and then on top of it, they're like, oh well, there's a chance McCaffrey might play, but it's Monday night, so good luck with that.
That's right.
Come on, why's it got to be Monday night game too, on top of everything else that you got to deal with? I'm literally starting 3rd and 4th stringers on some teams.
Dude,
I have nothing.
But you know what though? Guys like us who we do this, we're pretty hopefully we're pretty successful at it. I get embarrassed on those routes. Like, God, how did I end up? But then you look at the team you're playing, like, oh, his team is
the same thing.
Garbage too, right? It's in the same boat he or she is in the same boat I am. No, exactly.
Actually, that's so true. It's like you might have out of the 12 teams, maybe 2 teams that are healthy. Right. And everybody else is scratching at the bottom of the barrel. I started Darrington Evans last week.
I know, it's great.
I had no other choice. I didn't have anybody else to put in there. I picked him up. I go, well, he's going to get some carries. He got me 4 points. Nothing great, but whatever. It's better than a 0.
That's crazy. Last question about your process. Do you ever, at what point, or do you ever, because this week I was kind of doing the same thing and I'm looking like, man, I've got to grind waivers for all the, I probably do waivers. You do more than me, but I probably do waivers for probably around 50 teams. And like, man, I have a team that's like 1 and 5 or a couple, am I still do you move that? I know you still do it, but do you move them in that order, or are you just still going through no matter what,
Yeah, no, you know what? I used to organize them by record points, however you want to do it, but now I leave it. I go through. Here's the thing. One thing I learned, no matter how bad a team starts, doesn't mean it'll end up that way towards the end of the season. I'll give you an example. I had a team last year, sucked 4-18, but guess what? I ended up getting in as the 4th seed because I had the second most points, and then I ended up winning the division. Yeah, I ended up winning $1,500 with a 4-18. Yeah. So the thing is, it's crazy how bad a team is, but then it's great when you hit 200-point weeks, two 200-point weeks in a row, and then all of a sudden instead of being a bottom feeder, you're one of the point leaders all of a sudden. That's why you got to keep on it. You don't know when those points are going to come.
Yeah, I completely agree. Snake was saying the same thing last week. I had Glenn on, and he was saying the same thing. Plus, it's our personalities. It's our addiction to the game. Like, we're not just going to abandon some team or anything like that. Like, we can't. We just got to – plus, our name is on that team. You know what I mean? We take pride in it.
The thing is, too, is that, there's so much information now than we were 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. With all the analytics and everything else going on. And the thing is, my edge before all that was being the guy that looked at everything.
Right.
And a lot of people casually played. Now, with all that information, I have to find other ways to gain that edge if it's possible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that, like I was telling you, maybe it's reading a small blurb, inconspicuous blurb that was put out there somewhere that starts making sense in my mind. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden it leads me to maybe, a 17, 18th round pick that ends up being a starter or being a valuable member of that team when I need them. And that's the biggest thing, is just constantly looking, scouring, trying to find any bit of information that can give me that little edge that maybe will put me over the top, over the next guy. You know what I'm saying? Because there isn't much. Everybody we play against knows what they're doing.
Right. That's right.
You guys maybe not, but for the most part, these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, you got to try to find whatever you can to try to gain whatever edge you can.
Yeah, for sure. We got a question in the chat here. We'll go. Speaking of adding guys and doing rosters, from Stats Guru, who is the top fab add this week? I mean, I'm thinking it really depends on what your roster is. In the FFWC, man, we drafted so many receivers. You start so many receivers. That receiver room in the free agent room is slim pickings. Good luck finding something in there. But to me, it's probably Evans this week for the Rams. I've got a lot of Kyron Williams. I'm not saying you drop everything on him. I'm not saying you drop. But I think there's, like you said, we got rosters with Darrington Evans. Like, Evans for the Rams is going to get more points than he is probably. Yeah. Like, I got to improve my roster. I got to improve my lineup, and I can't take the fab with me. So I might as well spend it on teams. Some teams, if you're in good shape, Evans might only be a 1 or a 2 week player. But if you got a team that needs guys now, I think Evans is probably my guy as the number one pickup.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. There isn't, like, at this, and at least in our leagues, I'm not talking about the smaller family leagues.
Yeah. Right.
Rounds. But in our leagues, if Zach Evans, I dropped Zach Evans on like a dozen teams last week.
I know, dude. I know.
I'm really pissed off about that move. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, you live and die with what you do. But yeah, I mean, Zach Evans for sure. There isn't really much else. And the thing is, I'm leery too, because these coaches don't care about our fantasy teams. They care about wins and losses. And then you have what happened last week with Arizona, where you got Democrat or whatever his name is, getting the whole entire second half. And then the next game, he gets 2 touches.
I know.
Why are you playing Damian Williams? You're a team going nowhere. What are you playing an old guy for?
I know.
It made no sense. And then all of a sudden, everybody's like, who started Democrat got, 2 points off the guy?
Yeah.
What the bunch of
I know.
bull, you know what I'm saying?
It also becomes a point, too. People love to, like, a lot of analysts out there are like, oh, don't pick up DeMarcado for these 10 reasons. And then, and then he doesn't do anything. They're like, see, told you. But, like, listen, we can't take the fab with us. We got no running back. What are we supposed to do? We got, even if I agree.
I had nothing.
Even if I agree, he's probably not going to do anything. I need something. I need a guy to put in my lineup. So maybe he falls in the end zone for a touchdown, whatever. Like,
right. Because I got 2 guys on bye, and then I got 2 guys injured.
Right. That's right.
I mean, come on. I don't care who you are. Unless you drafted 7 straight running backs, I mean, you're digging at the bottom of the barrel. So you see a guy from Arizona come up, all of a sudden, your eyes are getting like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right, I got a starter for the next 2-3 weeks at least. And then, goes out and lays an egg.
I know.
Not his fault, but the coaches or whatever their game plan was.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I always have to – you have to understand as a fantasy player, these teams don't give a crap about you. They don't care about your fantasy team. They don't care what stats you're getting. They care about getting wins for themselves and saving their jobs. So, even though they got superstars and you think they should get 10 targets a game, that's not their game plan. That's not what they're thinking.
Well, Angelo, that's half, maybe more than half the battle with all these predictions on a season-long thing. It's not about what the coaches should do. It's about what they're going to do. That's the part is figuring out, how Atlanta is going to screw it up with all their skill guys and how the Lions are going to screw it up with all their skill guys. Like, it's getting into the minds of the coaches. That's the most frustrating part, and the hardest part is why are you doing this?
Well, I feel like even as much as I know, like us being grinders, how we are, I feel like I don't know anything sometimes.
I know.
I'm like, what? You know, you play the numbers, you play the percentages, you play what you think should happen, and then none of that happens, and you're like, I did everything according to what's supposed to be. You know,
I get it.
It's just part of what we do, man. You just got to live and die with it, and whatever happens, happens, man.
Oh, I love it. I love the grind. All right. We're going to get into our MVPs and kind of our busts that have happened this year, but we got we have I think a start sit question. Let's see what we got here from Daniel. Half PPR, Freiermuth versus the Rams, or Logan Thomas versus the Giants, and Mayer versus Chicago, or Musgrave. So I think we have Freiermuth versus Logan and Mayer versus Musgrave. I'm going to go. I'll take the second one first, and then I'll let you take the first one, and then we'll flip. I like Mayer. I think he's rising. I think he's rising in playing time. I think he's rising in targets. So I kind of like the Mayer situation there. Freiermuth, man, what is that? 4 concussions now in 3 years. It always scares me. What do you think, Angelo?
I'm looking at Logan Thomas. I know he didn't have a great game last week, but if they're using him somewhat like Kelsey, I'm not saying he's Kelsey, don't get me wrong, but they're using him similarly in that offense, and he can easily be a guy that ends up with 7-8 catches in a lot of games. You know what I'm saying? I really do like him. Mayer, you know, he's the hot pocket right now. He's the hot guy. I get it. He finally had a breakout game. And then guess what's going to happen? You're going to take him, you're going to start him, and he's going to get you 2 points. That's what's going to happen. You're going to say, that's all. I see it happen so much. And Musgrave, I like Musgrave, but he just does not get enough targets to be relevant enough for me to be confidently put him as a starter or even a flex play if you're desperate.
I know. So I'm actually I'm just looking at the rosters here in the not the roster, but the schedule and the strength of schedule and stuff like that. I think I would go Musgrave. Musgrave's got, I forgot, he has Denver. He even put he has Denver on there. Denver is such a smash spot for tight end. So I might go Musgrave as a low end tight end one. But
if he sees the targets, that's right. It's great. He's like 4 or 5 targets a game. And if he doesn't score, you're getting 8 points, 9 points. But actually, that's not bad for a tight end. So, I mean, if that's your, I think the upside's in Logan, personally, because he has that, potential. Because I've seen him do it plenty of times, even before his injury. You know what I'm saying? And now you're seeing a year after that injury, and he's starting to really pop off. He looked good in that Bears game.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to watch the Atlanta game, so I'm not sure how that flow was. But, I like what I see from that guy. I think by the end of the year, he's going to end up being one of the top 10, 12 tight ends in the league.
And I think a lot of these rookies too are going to pop. Like Kincaid has done nothing. You get a lot of
that situation. They don't throw him the ball.
I know they don't. The Bills are liars. Listen, I'm a Bills fan. They lie with their actions. Hey, we want a running back that's going to catch the ball, so we're going to get Cook, and we're not going to throw him the ball. Yeah. Hey, we want a tight end, then we're going to go 12 personnel. We're going to trade up in the draft, take the number 1 tight end in the draft, and we're not going to throw him the ball. Or we're going to throw him 2 yards from the line of scrimmage. They're about it's Allen, it's Diggs, and it's everybody.
That's it. That's basically it. So.
In Buffalo, we got a question if someone should trade for Justin Jefferson. I don't know how much trading you do, but a Celtics fan, love it. 5-1. Do I trade Michael Pittman for Jefferson? His other receivers are CeeDee Lamb, Keenan Allen, D-Hop, Josh Palmer, and McLaurin.
Yeah, I would do that trade in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean,
you're only losing a couple of weeks, and
I'm with you, Angelo. But some people think he's going to take 4 to 6 weeks off and then he's not going to play. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
I think he's going to, even missing 4 games, he's going to still double his production. I mean, before he got hurt, he was 25, 26 points every game.
I know.
If you can add that. Listen, here's the thing. Don't worry about your record going. You just want to get in the playoffs. And then once you get in the playoffs and you start in Jefferson, trust me, that's all you need, man. That's the thing. People think, I got to have a 10-1 left. No, get in.
Yes.
Get in and then get hot. That's it. That who cares? I'll take the money if I'm 6-7 or whatever my record is. I don't care. Leverage
that 5-1 to be able to get yourself in the class.
You're in a great position right now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Let's get to some of our MVP. I'll go first. I know we kind of talked offline. We had a couple of the same guys, but MVP, I'm looking at guys that not just the best players, but guys that we were drafting based off the ADP, and they're really winning games for us. And Tua, I mean, there's a lot of guys I could have put here, but a lot of, like, Richardson would have been one of my guys. He was one of my guys. He's hurt. I'm not going to put him as an MVP guy. But Tua, to me, is an MVP, fantasy MVP candidate. A guy that we were taking, was QB 12, 13.
Round,
yeah, stuff like that. I'm looking right now for his ADP, but a guy that's, QB 4 in points per game. Every week is just that whole team is so good. He was going as QB10 in the FFWC. So to be able to get him, he's QB4 in points per game. He's consistent. My only thing about Tua preseason why I don't have more of him is because I was just, and it still might rear its ugly head, no pun intended, is the concussions. It's one hit. One hit.
I worry too. I'm not gonna lie. I actually have him on Dynasty too, but I mean that was my one worry about drafting him too. Is that one hit? Now what?
Exactly. So
that offense is. You want a piece of that offense. That offense
you want
is something else.
Angelo. You want all the pieces of that offense.
You want exactly. Yeah.
I'm looking to get Jeff Wilson in my starting lineup. Like let's go. Like
let's go. I'm the same way, dude. I'm like let's go.
But so to me, quarterback Tua, not much to say there. He's been playing great. QB 4 points per game.
Totally agree.
QB 10. Who do you got as your first MVP candidate?
You know what? Because you know how we were chatting, and I was laughing because I'm like, hey, you took all my MVPs. But I'll tell you what, man, this guy, whether he continues it for the season, I don't know. We'll see. I doubt it. I think he'll tail off towards the end. But Thielen, my God, guy's 30 points a week right now. You guys having a flashback to like 4 or 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? The guy's been on fire. I remember, 3 weeks ago, he was getting cut. And I remember I went all out. I put like $500, $600 on a guy, and the guy's been money. He's got like 100 points over the last 3 weeks.
Dude, I mean, quarterbacks aren't really going to like win you leagues and like Tua has been fine, but he's not really going to. Dude, you get a guy like Thielen, going as like, I'm trying to find going as like wide receiver like 40 and stuff like that. And these drafts.
He was going 15th round, 14th, 16th round.
And
real quick to talk about Tua.
Yeah.
See, and at the start of the season, everybody's going quarterback happy in the 3rd and 4th and 5th rounds. And I'm like, why? What numbers are these people looking at? I go, you can wait on quarterback. It's the one position you can wait on. And this is proof with Tua, with Goff, with Kirk Cousins, with some of these guys that are in the later part of the draft that have been money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what are they producing? 2 less points than the top guy?
I know.
Come on, man.
I know.
Look at the running back receiver you grab in those 3rd, 4th rounds compared to the QB you just grabbed in the 13th and 14th round. So I don't know where this BS QB take your QB early stuff started, man, but I knew it was going to backfire, and it has.
Josh Allen is still, Allen and Hurts and Mahomes and Tua, like those guys are at the top, but they're not at the top.
But they're not like 30 points a
game. They're 22.
Yeah.
22, 21. Yeah.
Maybe
exactly.
It'll come as
it'll come.
But to me, I feel like it was wasted draft capital. You could have easily waited and gotten the same production right now.
Dude, Adam Thielen, wide receiver 59 by the end of the
59. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely smashing. Are you concerned about the play calling change in Carolina? About Frank Reich kind of turning over play calling duties. I'm not.
Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, he's clear cut the number 1 over there.
Yes.
There's nobody behind him, obviously, that's better. And obviously, what's his face trusts him, the quarterback.
Yes.
Bryce Young, whatever his name is. He trusts them. So he looks to him. So I don't see, what type of offense they run, whether they run the ball more. Thielen will be active. My thing with Thielen is he going to be able to keep it up? He's older.
Well, I love this. I got to be honest. I love this bye week right now for them, though. It's like nice right in the middle of the season.
I'm worried at the end of the season, the last 3 weeks when it counts. Is he going to have that same drive and energy that he had the first, 6?
Right.
Because I've seen it with T.O. Remember Cincinnati? Oh my God, and then by the end of the season, he tailed off. He wasn't doing anything.
I know.
That's what you got to worry about with these older guys.
I think Thielen, to me, once the quarterback builds a rapport with a slot receiver like that, a veteran guy, Thielen's a coach on the field, and they're turning over. Frank Reich's turning over play calling duties to the offensive coordinator who was formerly from the Rams.
I actually didn't hear that though. That's actually news to me.
Cooper Kupp, Adam Thielen, Cooper Kupp type of slot, type of work action. I still think
So I don't see any loss.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. I think he'll be all right there. All right. Yeah. Back over to me here. We talked about Kyren earlier, and I know he's hurt, and we're talking about picking up Evans and stuff, but MVP, I still think he's got more juice left in him for the rest of this season. Kyren Williams, to me, man, has been one of my MVPs.
One of the biggest surprises.
At least one of the biggest surprises. Points per game, top 5 and points per game. I mean, they just working him. He's 4th overall in points per game behind McCaffrey, Mostert, Achane. Dude, we got 2 Miami running backs in the top.
I know, it's insane.
Points per game. It's insane.
Mostert's one of my biggest regrets. So
no, I get it, and we'll get to him.
Never healthy. He's like 6-7 games a year, and then see you later. See you next year.
31-year-old journeyman. I know.
Oh man, it's unreal.
But Kyren, man, the guy's been working. He had 111 yards last week after contact. Like, we could talk about his 4.6 40 at the combine. I didn't think he was good. No one thought he was good. He still might not even be good, but like, he's producing. They trust him. Man, listen, Kyren, we're playing with house money right now. Take 2 weeks off, rest that ankle, and get back to work, because we got money to make here.
I didn't think he had the size, to be honest with you, to be that, versatile, or whatever, however you want to call it. I thought he was a smaller back, but and this is a guy you got a 16th round.
I know.
15th, 16th round, dude. You want to talk about a steal and a half?
I know.
Man, oh man. I don't have a lot of them. I only have like about 5 shares, because obviously he was a guy that came out towards the end of the draft season when he started kind of popping up and stuff.
Yep.
So, and I won't mention his name, but I know a certain player that plays in our leagues, it's one of the best players around, was dropping him the first week before the games, and I'm like, man, he must be kicking himself right now, because it was like 4 or 5 leagues I saw him doing it, and I was like, oh my god. I'm glad he did, because it would have been a lot harder to face him, I'll tell you that much.
That's right.
The only bad part is that nobody knew to start him, though.
Right.
Unless you had him in best ball, you weren't getting those first couple of week points until you were, because even with Puka, he did it the first week. I was still scared to play him the next week, because I'm like, is that for real? And then he did it again. I go, okay, I got to play this guy now.
Got to play him. Yeah, for sure. Well, we got another question from Daniel here. We answered this a little bit earlier, but we'll answer it again. The LA running back situation. What do we think Evans is the guy? I think Evans is going to get the first crack at it. They traded up in the draft to get him. He's an athletic freak. He got the first crack at it last week, but again, this could be a DeMarcado situation all over again. And for some teams, we got to take a shot. And listen, put in bids on him, put in contingent bids on, Myles Gaskin and some Myles Gaskin, some stuff like that. And maybe one of them hits, but hopefully Kyren's back.
Is Gaskin's is he the second guy up, or is it Freeman?
It's Freeman.
Always Freeman, right?
It's Freeman, but I'm saying like Freeman too. Let's just put a little.
Gaskin's probably a pass catcher, so he's probably got a little more value, maybe.
Yeah. So, all right, Angelo, who do you got at next? What's your guy?
The other guy, and really it's because of where he was getting drafted, was Keenan Allen. The guy's been phenomenal. I know. He was going 4th round in some drafts, late 3rd. This guy's playing at a first pick level, like one of the top first 2 picks in the 2nd round. The way he's been playing, he's been fantastic. That's another guy I missed on. I really thought age was going to catch up to him, with the hamstrings or who knows what. But man, I wish I had a little more of him.
And listen, it's not we're halfway of like the regular season for high stakes. It starts a little bit earlier, but like a couple things that you said. Kyren Williams, I didn't think he was big enough. Listen, he's hurt. He's not big enough. That's the problem. Keenan Allen, we're talking about Tua, the concussions. Keenan Allen, the hamstrings. Keenan Allen might still pop up with a hamstring, but right now he's, like you said, he's smashing.
He's money right now.
He's money right now. He would have had an even bigger game. Herbert missed him on a
long one. Oh my god! The guy on the left sideline.
Oh man. But yeah, I think Keenan Allen for sure. He's not one of these like ADP faller Puka Nacua type guys that we were drafting super late.
Right, he's a little bit higher. But
look who he's going. Look who's going around. T. Higgins, bust. Yeah. Devonta Smith, bust.
Exactly.
Ridley, bust. Olave.
Olave.
He
should have been probably the maybe the 6th, 7th receiver off the board, if not maybe even one of the first 5.
I know.
That's the level he's playing at. Exactly. if he doesn't get hurt, it's not going to stop.
No.
Herbert's going to feed him. You know what I'm saying? He's going to eat.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, he's one of my regrets, man. Because I had a lot of them last year, and the injury kind of it bummed me out. And then this year I shied away from him. And so I went against my own advice, where forget what happened the year before and just draft the new. No, everybody's healthy, everybody's good. But lesson learned.
Well, plus he's having a pure run out though too, Angelo. He's getting 30% of the target share. Mike Williams goes down. Quentin Johnston stinks. Mm-hmm. Eckler goes down. Yeah. He's just had such a pure run out. Herbert trusts him. I think that 30% target share is going to probably stick around there, man.
I don't see. Even if it dips slightly, it's still
you're
give me 25. I'll take that any day of the week.
I know.
It's plenty.
But you know these older guys too, man. These Thielens, these Fitzgeralds, these Boldens. Like, man, once they get older, you put them in the slot and just let them. I mean, he's been in the slot pretty much his whole career, but like they can last longer and still be super successful.
Well, modern medicine too is a lot different from where it was. These guys are gonna play longer in their careers because of it too.
Right.
You know, so that's a part of it too, and how they train and how you know all the supplements and everything else they do. So, but Keenan Allen for sure, man. That guy's been money
for sure. All right, my next guy, my last MVP is a guy that we had spoken about a second ago, Raheem Mostert. I mean, the guy's RB2 in points per game. I mean, it's just
one share of that guy. One share, man. That's all I have, dude. One share. And I'm
one share.
It's about it when I see it.
And listen, dude, I will tell you, like, kind of like to shoot off from, like, I don't know how you run your portfolio with teams and all that stuff. Like, I've got a ton of teams, but I also co-own, and a lot of times co-owning with guys, like, I got one buddy that I co-own quite a few teams with, and he was a big, like, dude, we got to take Mostert, we got to take the mind. Like, I was the H-An guy, and so he's fist bumping, and then I'm fist bumping, and we're both fist bumping. Like, so I still think it's H-An's backfield.
It is. No, that's H-An.
Dude, it's been a pure run up for Mostert too.
Right.
You lose Jeff Wilson for 4 weeks. H-An's now down. Like, Mostert's been healthy. 31-year-old journeyman. Who would have thought?
The thing is, for me, it was just his health. The guy, like,
right,
he'll play great, but then it's only 7 games, and then he's out for the year. I mean, how many games has he played over the course of the last 3-4 years?
I know.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I didn't want to, he wasn't going super early. So I guess the investment could have been there with low risk. But I don't know. I just felt like, with H-Chain coming, with Wilson there, you're going to have a 3-headed backfield over there. It's going to be a mess. So I avoided it. But it's whatever. It's part of what we do.
That's right. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, generally,
thanks, man.
Generally, when you bet against a 31-year-old journeyman running back, you're going to win most of the time. So
you would assume. I mean, not a guy who's having a record-breaking year. I mean, Jesus. I mean, if he keeps up this pace, I mean, the guy might end up breaking fantasy records. Shit.
I know. I mean, but again, the 31-year-old journeyman thing still the old. He was going RB 35 by the end of the draft season. Listen, all these touches might catch up with him too. Still, but for right now,
the offense the type of offense they run that zone run, I mean, that causes a lot of injuries to running backs in general.
Yeah,
I mean, look at Frisco; their backs are always banged up.
I know.
Even last year, Miami, their backs pick one every week. One was getting hurt. So it's just like it's a matter of time. I don't want to wish him bad luck, but I feel like you got the sand hourglass tipped over and it's getting close. You know what I'm saying?
But the other, and you made like a great point there. Like everyone always be adding Niners and Dolphins running backs. Just keep adding them.
Just keep adding them, right?
You're the third one on the team. Yeah, for now. You're the third one.
You started
Mason, like all these guys. Mason's another guy. If he's available on waivers, put in because we don't even know what's going on with McCaffrey. Like,
they still got Davis Price, don't they?
Yes.
Add him. He'd be starting by the end of the season. Don't worry.
That's right. I know. So always be adding those running backs for sure. All right. Who do you got next?
I guess my last one would be so I had to think a little bit, but I think Puka. You got to throw Puka there.
Puka.
I mean, besides, he had maybe 1 week, 2 weeks that weren't great, but at 30, 25, I mean, the guy's been money.
I know.
He's been he was undrafted in some leagues. He wasn't even drafted in some leagues. You know what I'm saying? You got this guy at the 20th pick, last pick in the draft if you wanted him.
Dude, wide receiver 79. Absolute. I mean, MVP. He might not have that. I mean, there's a lot of people
I don't know if it's going to continue, but
right. I mean, I think it's will be a wide receiver too. Yeah. And again, he might not have that grasp on like a fantasy MVP role as we think of it because you didn't start in week 1. Right. No. Week 2, even some people were like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So by the time you started him, you only got like 2 good weeks out of him, but still he's been great. I mean, dude, I did some like underdog drafts. I just started to look at those 6 weeks in. Let's see how those look. Yeah. I've got like my best teams have Puka on them. I'm like, I must have fell asleep. This was a draft. I'm not taking credit for drafting Puka Nacua, So
see, my fault was I did those early. And this was before Puka got on the radar because Puka got on the radar in, let's say, August.
Yes.
I remember I read a few blurbs and I actually started drafting the guy.
Yeah.
And like I'd say second week of August, I was drafting him. Not everywhere, but I would take him. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, boom, 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 injury happens to the cup, the door's open.
That's it.
I mean, hey, the kid took it and ran. And the thing is, he does not have the measurables. Besides, I don't know. He's slow. He doesn't have the athleticism, but the guy's a football player. That's the thing.
Right.
If you're a football
Kind of
player,
reminds me of Cooper Kupp a little bit.
You know what? Kupp's what, 30, 31? I mean, this
30,
kid's probably the future over there. I don't know if McVay's going to stay over there or not, but this kid might be the next Kupp over there. I mean, look what he did when Kupp was in the lineup, dude. That's crazy for a rookie to come in and do that.
I know.
That's surprising, man. Big time. It goes back. Remember, I texted you earlier. I was joking, like you could have skipped the first 10 rounds and drafted from the bottom down, and probably still ended up with a top 5 team in the league.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's ridiculous how many guys from rounds 11 to 20 are just like exploding or are just been like. Whether it continues, I don't know. I feel like things will balance out eventually. I hope, but it's been a upside down world. That's what I feel like. Stranger Things, upside down world. That's what it feels like.
It's been well, a lot of that's to do is just the astronomical amount of injuries we get every single week.
Time. Oh, that's a part of it, of course.
It's just insane. I don't know what's going on. I talked about this last week, the week before. I don't know what's going on with these injuries. If it's turf, if it's what they're eating, what they're putting in their body. But like even Damian Harris in this Bills game on Monday night, it was a standard hit in the hole, high, not hard, nothing. And he's like motionless on the turf.
Yeah.
Like what is
it was some kind of neck injury from what I heard.
Yeah, but like
maybe the way he snapped back or something.
What is happening?
I don't know. Yeah, they need to figure that out.
Puka Nacua, even after Cooper Kupp being back the last 2 weeks, he's still at a 32% target share. Cooper Kupp's at a 38%.
And I don't see him not throwing. I see him throwing even more now with the injury to Williams. I mean, we'll see. I mean, there's enough to go around for all of them. You know, the thing is, Higbee ain't getting anything.
No.
Only I say the hit. If anybody took a hit was
Tutu Atwell, yeah, for sure.
He's the only one, and he's still catching touchdowns. So I mean, he's still serviceable.
Listen, Stafford is a wide receiver kingmaker. He's been doing it his whole career. He knows where his bread's buttered.
He's healthy. That's the thing.
He's healthy. The line is better. That's why they're clicking. I like it. All right. So to my first bust of the year, it's not a massive bust, but it's enough. And I don't really have a lot of this guy, but CD Lamb has been having a down year. We kind of went through a list of those receivers, but dude, Lamb was going as wide receiver 7 in like the mid to late first round in these FFWC drafts. Right now, he's wide receiver 20 in points per game, and it just hasn't been there for him. But whenever when he gets on prime time, we all watch him like, man, just throw him the freaking ball.
He's got the talent. You see it in him.
Just every play. Throw him the ball, but he's only at a 22% target share. Like alpha like him, man, he's got to be up at the 28, 29, 30% target share. So he's a guy that's been disappointing so far. You take a first round receiver. There's been I didn't pick anyone that was like injured because like those are cherry. That's easy to do. But like CeeDee Lamb has not been injured. That whole offense, I was going to do to Tony Pollard too, but Tony Pollard, due to all the injuries, he's still like running back 9 on the year, but he's not, but he has not had.
He hasn't had the explosive games. And I don't know, maybe that's something to do with maybe being that part-time guy was actually better for him. Well, not only with more juice, more energy when he did come in, and his plays were actually more effective.
Sure. I get that. I don't disagree with that. But the other thing too that I didn't really hear a lot of people talk about in the offseason was, he was coming off like a broken ankle or a broken leg. Nobody really talked about it. Even I didn't really talk about it. I'm like, oh, well, the doctors aren't saying anything. They say he should be good to go. So, all right, I won't. But maybe it is. Maybe there is something there.
I think got a little slower. I mean, he did get caught on that one screen.
No, he got caught by everybody. Everybody was gaining.
That was surprising, too. I'm like, Pollard got caught on that? I was like, that was a breakaway. But yeah, you're right. That could have an effect on him. So, dude, most guys coming off injuries, that's what people don't realize is that it takes a full year before you really – it takes the year you're healthy, and then the next year is usually when you start to really feel better. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And not only that, I think we get situations where, and I know it wasn't an ACL, but we get situations like where Adrian Peterson comes back off an ACL after like 6 months and wins the MVP of the NFL. Like
that's anomaly.
I know.
The anomaly. He's the exception to the rule, I think.
He is. And I mean, we've been doing this long enough. Dude, ACLs used to ruin. It was over. Rashaan Salam, Keyjana Carter, like all these superstar guys would come out of college. They get an ACL. Terrell Davis.
Akers, dude. Akers came back in 8 months.
I know.
He came back to play in the Super Bowl.
Yes, he might have been an
Remember?
Achilles. Was he an Achilles?
That's what I'm saying. An Achilles injury. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Those things take like 2.5 years to get over, man. That's
Dude.
crazy.
Dude,
They
crazy.
said modern medicine is something else these days.
Dude, I have buddies, and this is obviously they're not NFL athletes, but
Yeah.
they're like CrossFit dudes. Like they're in great shape. I had a buddy that tore his Achilles, and it's been 3 years, and he's in phenomenal shape. He still isn't back to where he wants to be. So
because you get that limp, dude. It's that that tear, man.
Yep.
I mean, once they put it back, it's never the same. You know, it takes a long time.
So yeah, I think that Lamb should get going. I wouldn't be too worried, but as of right now,
he hasn't been completely horrible.
Correct.
He hasn't been a completely horrible. But I know where you're coming from with him because of where his draft capital is.
Yeah.
What he's produced, what he's given you in return,
and he hasn't been hurt. You know what I mean? Like there's just. But I think we'll get there. I wouldn't panic.
I hope so. I got him on a few teams.
That's right. That's right. You know? All right, who you got?
So, the one guy I'd say would have to be Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, you want to talk about a guy with a lot of hype. What do they keep saying? You get drafted in the top 12 in the draft, you're going to finish top 12 in fantasy. Every running back that's been drafted that high has always done it. I bought into the hype. You know, I'm thinking this, that, and the other. Oh yeah, the Lions are going to throw the ball to him. And then they start playing the games, and here's David Montgomery. I'm like, wait a minute here, dude. And then that's another guy I regretted. Man, it's 7th round, 6th round guy.
I know.
Like, damn, man, I should have had more of him. I didn't have enough of him. And I loved Montgomery. I'm a Chicago Bear guy. So I seen the guy play for the last 4 years. You know, but I don't know. I just looking at that offense and what I was expecting, I really thought Gibbs would really get half the load over there. Not like, 25% of it? Not even sometimes. He's not even getting the catches that I anticipated. And you see the speed. You see when he gets the ball, he wants to explode. But the thing is, either they're not using him right, or the kid still has to learn how to use his holds properly. I don't know what it is, because I know there's a few plays where he's not cutting right. He's not taking the right angle. But yeah, he's one that's totally for second round, third round pick for some people. Yeah, he's been a disappointment.
Yeah, third round pick, definitely disappointment. I mean, and that's not even that's regardless of the injury, because even before that, he wasn't getting the ball. That's right. He wasn't getting the ball. He's their space guy, and that's the thing. Like we always thought last year was like, oh, they just didn't like DeAndre Swift,
which I mean,
they just didn't like him. That's why that role wasn't very successful. Well, we get a running back that we think might be better. They like him more. They drafted him. They bring in Gibbs, and it's the same thing. And the frustrating thing is, no one's got more Jahmyr Gibbs than I do. Were you in Vegas this year for the draft?
Oh, I didn't get out there.
Dude, I'm walking around Thursday Night Football with a Jahmyr Gibbs jersey on, bro. Like no one's got more Jahmyr Gibbs.
I bought into the hype late. I did. I bought into it. I think I maybe got about 12 shares of him.
Yeah.
And yeah, that backfired. 12 points, I think, has been his highest game this year.
Dude, they don't, and I've been throwing this out there, like they don't want. This is going to sound weird. They don't want Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams to be successful. And this is why I say that. They want to play with the lead. They want to ground and pound Montgomery. They want to play action, Amon-Ra, tight end. They want to play that old school. If Jameson Williams is successful on deep balls and Jim Gibbs is successful with 9 catches, that means they're losing. That means they're playing for – they don't want
to do that right
to be successful. So, like, that's why I look at it now in hindsight, like, man, this is going to be – but listen – if Gibbs can just get back healthy, let's get at this point. Like, can you just give me 12 to 15 a game?
Yeah,
like, I need you to freaking start for me here. You know,
I wish they would even sort of use him like Swift. The thing is, even though they didn't like Swift would still end up with 6, 7, 8 catches on some games. Gibbs has come nowhere close to that. He's like 3 catches. It just doesn't.
Dude, and he's one of those players, dude, where I'm like so obsessed with him and the situation that like whenever he's on, I'm locked into every play. They don't throw it to him when he's open, and they throw it to him when he's covered. And meanwhile, they have these exotic fake handoff to Gibbs, Montgomery out of the bet. Like they're designing everything for Montgomery to succeed. And Gibbs is just
unless they feel he's not picking up the game plans, or
that could be. I mean,
trust him in pass blocking.
That could be.
That's always a huge part of it that we don't know as fans watching it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying that could be a big, because like I said before, as fantasy players, they didn't do craps. They're just trying to win a game.
Right.
They don't care if Gibbs got 4 carries, if he gets 15 carries. Because even when Montgomery was out and Gibbs had the chance to be the guy, he still didn't do nothing with it.
He had 17 carries, and then he had 1 target. Like,
right. That makes no sense. That's
what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. All right. I'm right there with you. I'm just as frustrated as you are. All right. My last bust is a guy that I do not have a lot of, but a lot of people that I respected have a lot of this guy. Calvin Ridley has been an absolute bust this season. He was by the time the end of August was coming, early September, he was going at the 2-3 turn. Dude, at the FFWC, their high stakes main event there.
He almost made the first round.
2-7 wide receiver 12. He was going as, and right now, I mean, I think he's like wide receiver like 30 or 40. I'm gonna look it up right now. But man, he hasn't been getting the targets. They've slightly missed him on a couple of touchdowns. But the thing is, dude, Zay Jones has been out the whole season, and he's still right. Yeah, he's been getting outplayed by Christian Kirk, out targeted by Christian Kirk. So it's definitely been disappointing for him. Where were you in the preseason process?
Do you remember when we did the red versus blue?
I remember, but I don't remember.
Remember what I said? I don't remember what I said. I think it was Scott who asked me about Ridley, and I said Ridley has all the talent in the world, but you can't knock being off a year of football.
I remember that.
What I said was that he's going to start slow, and you watch towards the end of the season, he'll start to heat up when he's finally got his feet under him again. And basically, and I thought I was wrong because the first game he goes and puts up 20 plus.
I know.
I was like, oh shit, I was wrong on him. And then he's done nothing since. He had one more game where I think he hit 16 points.
The Bills, he played the Bills. Yep.
Rather than that, he's 7 points, 8 points. He drops more than he catches. He's dropped how many balls?
I know.
You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I have maybe 10, 11 shares of him. I don't have a super ton amount, but I have enough. I try to balance out my
diversify,
shares.
Right?
But he's another guy that I was actually staying away from. And then come August, let me grab a few shares of him because he's looking good. You hear all the hype. He's looking great in camp. And then, that's camp. This is the games now. This is for real.
I know.
Guys actually are playing defense now.
That's right. That's right. So I think you might be right on that too.
Lawrence has sucked too. Yeah, he hasn't helped him.
Lawrence hasn't popped yet at all. Tomorrow night, Thursday night games suck. So even like Lawrence is banged up. Like I don't know. Injuries bye weeks, you probably have to start all your startable Jaguars. But like, man, you're not.
I might actually tomorrow. I might sit him because he's got that shoulder injury too on top of it. So if I have a better play, I might go that way. I don't know if I'm going to take a chance because he takes another shot, he might be out for the game. And then what are you sitting with 4 points?
Right.
I got killed by Fields last week doing that shit.
Dude,
we 8 points. Oh my god,
dude, that's been the killer too, dude. Guys getting hurt in the first. Debo Samuel, Anthony Richardson.
Nice 0.1 points from him. Oh god. At least it wasn't a skunk, but man,
what a disaster. All right, last guy. Talk to me about Jerry Jeudy. You had him down as
Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, I mean, all the hype in the world, man. And you know what? It's funny is for the last few years, I've been saying, he's not worth it. He's not worth it. Don't draft this guy. Snake's a big proponent. Was always a big guy on Jeudy. And I would tell him, dude, Sutton's a better player. He gets better production than Jeudy does. And then this year, I'm like, you know what? Peyton's coming in. That offense is going to go. Wilson's going to bounce back. They should see targets. And then, I don't know, explain to me what I keep seeing every week over there. I mean, the guy, you see the talent. He's got all the talent in the world, but he just doesn't translate to the field. You know what I'm saying? Where he was getting drafted, in at least in FFWC, even in other sites, third round, late third round, middle third round. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And he's probably a 7th round pick, 8th round pick at best. Sutton should have been the guy going in the 3rd round, not him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, and the thing was, and a big proponent also too was also I read too that maybe a little late into it, but I guess the way Peyton runs his offense, Sutton is the guy that actually gets fed the ball more than what Jeudy would.
Right.
Where the receiver position he plays, because he plays the Thomas role, and Thomas was the one getting fed on the Saints. You know what I'm saying? But it's still not enough. It's not an excuse for Jeudy not to go out there and give us 13, 14 points, 15 points a game.
Right. Dude, watching Russell Wilson is embarrassing. Just they're on prime time every week for the last 2 years. And just watching him is embarrassing to anyone who ever thought that they could play quarterback. He just dropped every time it's 3rd down. He drops back, puts his head down, and runs for
starts scrambling or whatever. And then
for Judy's sake, hope he gets traded. Get him the heck out of there because Russell Wilson.
That money. Who's going to take him? Who's going to take him with that contract? My thing is, you know what? The only thing I could take out of it is what's his face in Seattle, the head coach over there, Carroll.
Carroll, yeah.
That guy's a genius.
Yeah, that's right.
He took him and won a Super Bowl with the same player.
That's right.
Like Russell Wilson's a different player all of a sudden.
Well, he won one. He's such a genius. He should have won two. Idiot should have handed it to Marshawn Lynch. But no, Lynch, anyway. He was a laughing stock. We're like, oh, what an idiot. He's going to have Geno Smith. Blah, blah. He resurrects Geno Smith. Geno Smith looks better than Russell Wilson.
I know. He looks great. He should take Fields. He'll probably make him an all-star.
I know. That's right.
For real.
That's
no,
right.
But he's one because I have a lot of I drafted a bunch of him. I was really high on him, and he's been a letdown. I hope he finds it. I hope at some point he starts clicking because I'm gonna need the guy. You know what I'm saying? But because I'm sitting him on a lot of teams. If I have a better option, he's on my bench. I don't trust the guy right now. I know. I have no faith in what they're doing right now over there.
A mess, an absolute mess over there. It's really awful.
There's actually a few bust picks that I could actually shout out that have really, I tell you what, even Olave, where his draft status was.
Yeah.
I looked at his numbers the other day. I go, man, that's actually not that good for a guy that was going in the middle to late second round. You know what I'm saying? Devonta Smith, another one. Where's he been? He hasn't done anything in 3 weeks, 4 weeks? I mean, there's a lot of guys.
If you want to include injuries too, listen to the second round ADP for the FFWC, starting at the first pick in the second round. Devontae Adams, Nick Chubb, Tony Pollard, Jalen Waddle, Kelsey, Olave, Ridley, Devonta Smith, Henry, Keenan Allen hit, Higgins, Jacobs.
Yeah, it's 3 guys on there. That's it.
3 guys that are worth
3 guys out of 12, yeah.
What an absolute mess. Like you said, dude, this season has been flipped upside down. You could probably go through and find, build a team round 16 through 20.
You can
crush that second round team.
If you look at some of the, say July drafts, maybe end of July, where some of these guys weren't even getting drafted yet.
Right.
So say you could have built an entire squad and been probably a top 5 in some of these companies just by having those picks. It's just that's why I said this year has been weird. I don't know if it's going to continue that way. I feel like there will be balance. You know what I'm saying? At some point, things will level out. And I'm going to put it out like this. What you see now in the standings in the top 15, 20, 25, I guarantee you at the end of the year, that's not what you're going to be seeing. I guarantee you it's going to flip upside down. And that's why I say it's going to be part of that process. So, it's nice to have top 10 teams. It's nice to look good.
Yeah.
It's nothing come week 15, 16, and 17.
You got to keep grinding those waivers, dude. Exactly. You got to stay strong.
All about waivers this year, dude. This is the year of the waiver.
Looking ahead. I know. Looking ahead for sure. I mean, dude, we just talked about the second round. I mean, look at round like 15. I could name more guys. Puka Nacua, Raheed Shaheed, Curtis Samuel. Better than all those receivers fantasy wise. We just named.
You can go on and on.
The next round, Kyron Williams.
Tank Dell.
Another
guy.
Robert Woods. Okay, last thing. I see a name here I want to talk about, and then we'll
Jacoby Myers, probably one of the most underrated receivers in the game.
Who's that?
Jacoby Myers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This guy should not be getting drafted in 10th, 11th rounds. The way he plays, he's 6th, 7th round pick. He should be going ahead of probably half the receivers that went before him.
Yeah, he's having a great year. Do you think Hunter Renfrow will get traded? Do you think there's any or is he just straight cut?
I don't know what the deal is. The guy was a superstar there 2 years ago. I mean, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's him or if it's just the offense. I mean, to me, he looked like the perfect Welker.
Yes.
I just don't
Edelman Welker. Come on. That's the
So I don't know. Maybe he needs a new team. Maybe he does need to get out of there.
Get him out of there. They don't even use him. Just trade the guy. I think he could fit really good on a team like the Bills, that their Cole Beasley guy, something like that.
It's weird because isn't that what the coach is known for?
Yes.
Isn't that what he's known for doing? Taking weird offenses and putting people in weird places and making them effective. And he just seems like he's not even on the field half the time.
I know. I get it. Adams, Jacoby Myers, but last year they didn't have. They had Waller, but he's been invisible, Angelo, for a year and a half now.
Oh yeah, he's getting dropped in Dynasty. I remember he got traded for a second round pick, and then he's being released a year and a half later.
I know.
It doesn't make sense because the talent is there. It is, unless he just had one of those fluky seasons. But I don't know. I don't believe that's what the case is. Could be just new coach, just doesn't fit the scheme, I guess.
You would have thought the scheme would have been perfect for him. But all right, my man. Hey, Angelo, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. This was awesome talking through all this stuff. Good luck to the rest of the season. Maybe we'll get you on again toward the end.
Sure, man, anytime.
When one of us is celebrating a big championship.
You know?
Sorry, what was that?
It's therapeutic, you know?
That's all right. Just to complain.
Get it out, man. Just get it out and scream a little, you know?
That's right. Our loved ones are sick of hearing about us. They're sick of hearing us do this.
Yeah, my daughter's always, are you doing fantasy football again? Are you drafting again? Everything is drafting.
That's
no matter
right.
what I'm doing, are you drafting again?
Every night, my daughter will be like, "Do you have a podcast again tonight? You know, do you have another podcast?"
I love it, man. That's awesome.
So, but
Yeah,
all right, hey,
get in the door over here. So.
that's right. That's right. All right, brother. Hey, thanks so much for joining me. And like everyone, join us every week Wednesday night, and we'll bring out all the good stuff. Until then, we'll see you next week, guys.
Peace.